Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so sorry. It's good morning, everyone. I hope you are able to see me right now. If you all are able to see me right now, you can go into the chat box and say yes. Guys, can you hear me? Yes. All right. Good. Good that you all are able to hear me now. Let's continue. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first lecture of e-commerce and digital marketing. It's a very good thing actually that we are meeting all together again, and we are looking forward for teaching you one of the most demanding subjects of today's time. uh, I believe everyone is already aware about what exactly is e-commerce and digital marketing. Most of you must have also gone through the course to understand about how e-commerce works and how exactly is digital marketing helping to shape the future of today's industries. Uh, you know, when we were hit with COVID-19, we had seen a drastic shift in the entire into the entire online retail industry, and suddenly things started to go haywire. There was no stock available and people were facing a lot of issues. I'll be talking about this case study very soon, right? But before we begin, I just wanted to introduce you all. I hope you all are able to see my screen right now. If you are able to see my screen, I believe you should be able to see something like Unit 1, Introduction to E-commerce. If you all see that, you can simply type in yes onto the chat box. Right. I can see Urja saying yes, Veda is saying yes. All right. Okay, very nice. I hope my audio is clear to you all. All right. Yeah. So the audio is also clear. It's a very simple subject. Let me first of all assure you that you guys are dealing with one of the most easiest subject in TYBMS, that is e-commerce and digital marketing. And by the time that you all would be giving your final semester exams or your fifth semester exams, this is going to be one of the papers where you will score the most, right? Trust me on this part is that nobody has ever got a KT in this particular subject. So rest be assured that you don't need to worry a lot about this subject. Whatever that I'll be teaching you all would be from your university exam point of view. Also, my job would be to make sure to explain to you all case studies regards to how are the trends shifting in today's day, right? So we are dealing with today unit 1, and as we progress we will be going through the various other sections of e-commerce and digital marketing. Right. The topics that are being covered in this particular unit are these that have been mentioned over here. Right. Uh, if you all can see all the topics that have been covered in this unit, you can simply type in yes in the chat box. Can you all see the slide which says topic covered in this unit? All right. Fair enough. So uh, let us begin. The first question that I would like to ask you all, if, you know, just as a general knowledge, what does E in the e-commerce stand for? You can put it in the chat. Right? Urja says electronic. What about others? Urja, it really matches with your name. Urja and electronic or electricity. Right? Everyone says electronic. Okay, fair enough. I believe everyone is already aware about the acronym that has been used widely. So basically, e-commerce is none other than your electronic commerce. In other words, when you talk about electronic commerce, it is a medium through which your online transactions happen. So, any transactions that take place online are termed as e commerce. Right. Now, there is a difference between e commerce and e business, which you would be looking at a little later stage. But e commerce has shaped the entire society today. Right. A quick question to you all. Can you all imagine, all right, just give me a wild guess and think about which was the first product that was sold online. You can put it in your chat box. I'm currently looking into the chat box right now. So you can go and think about, right? You don't need to look into the internet, right? It's nothing to worry about, but just give it a wild guess and think about which product was being sold online. Which was the first product to be sold online? You can put it in the chat box. All right. So Ayushi says it was books. All right, Ayushi. Anyone else? All right. So Sanjana says it's clothes, shoes. All right. Fair enough. Okay. But you guys are not even close to what I'm going to tell you right now. Think about it. These are not something which you would regularly try and sell it online. Mostly, the product that I'm trying to tell you is considered as a contraband and has been, you could say, banned by most of the government. Think about it. All right. So Ayushi says it's SIGs. Ayushi, you're pretty close to what I am referring to. All right. I will come to, right, uh, the timeline of e-commerce. So whether he says it's drugs, Ayushi says it's alcohol. All right. You guys are pretty close. Uh, the first product that was officially being sold online was none other than marijuana. Yes, Ayushi has very close. It's weeds, right? And it was in the year 1971, right, that ARPANET was used as the first ever, a medium to sell marijuana via your e-commerce. So basically, there was no such thing as e-commerce at that time, but there were, basically people at MIT, and they thought about like, we want marijuana to be, we want marijuana and they wanted it to be sold via through a channel, because you all understand that this particular sale of drugs is quite illegal. So they wanted it to be sold via a very channel which is not known to everyone, and that's the time when they decided to use ARPANET, right, to sell these drugs online. So if you all not aware about it, ARPANET was one of the first commercial network that was being set up after the US military had set up its own network system. So basically, the internet came from ARPANET, and it was the earlier stages where cannabis was used to sell drugs on cannabis was being sold online. Now, it was in 1972 that Muhammad M. Atala was the first one to file a patent for setting up electronic transactions via your telephone lines. So he used a special encryption technique, right, which was being used to secure communication and transmit money using your telephone line. So currently, what you are looking at as the telephone exchange and the transactions that happen through your mobile phone, right? That's all thanks to Atala Technovation, which went ahead with setting up products which were meant for doing transactions via your telephone line. Now, in 1979, Michael Aldrich was one of the first pioneers to set up the first online shopping system. And I am talking about is even way back when there was there was no Microsoft DOS or not even a Windows operating system. Thomas Holidays, yeah, I believe you are all already aware about Thomas Holidays as one of the leading companies in travel industry, was the first one to set up a B2B business online shopping system on its, they had no websites at that time, but they decided to go through the system and get it installed into their workspace. Right. Minitel was introduced nationwide in France and was used for online ordering. So if you want to make any orders, unlike the interface that you have today that you see on Amazon or Flipkart as such, unlike that, there were different phases, there were different systems that were being used to order online. So you all must be remembering that you can make an order on the phone, and these were the earlier days when you used to pick up your phone call and call up any particular service provider and ask them for the product, and they will deliver it to your doorsteps. In 1983, California State Assembly holds first hearing of electronic commerce in Volcano, California. Testifying are CTCUs, MCI Mail, Prodigy, and ComputerServe. These are some of the companies that were meant for joining into this electronic commerce. Yes. Now, the first ever person who was involved in shopping online was none other than Mrs. Snowball. Right. She was age 72 and she became the first ever lady to shop online via the home shopping network. Right. You can Google out for Mrs. Snowball and you would see a very old photograph of her sitting in front of a television and making an order. And in fact, this has gone into the history of e-commerce, where the lady was the first one to go ahead with shopping online. In April 1984, CompuServe launches the Electronic Mall in the US and Canada. It is the first comprehensive electronic commerce service. This is where CompuServe went ahead with setting up an electronic mall system where there was no basically a website as such, but people can still go ahead and purchase electronically. In 1989, Secure Data Compute introduced CompuMarket, the first internet-based system for e-commerce, where sellers and buyers post items for sale, and buyers could search the database and make purchase with a credit card. This is where in 1989 you have seen an evolving system, right? Although these companies were the first pioneers to introduce these kind of systems where buyers can post their products online, sorry, sellers can post their products online and buyers can make a purchase of those products using a credit card, right? But unfortunately, these companies are nowhere known, although they were pioneer. The only reason being because the kind of strategy that they adopted for for changing the e-commerce platforms was not really well, right? Yes, I believe everyone must be aware about Next. Is anyone aware about NEXT? Have you all heard about this name before? If you have, you can put in yes. If you have not heard about it, it's fine. No. All right. Okay. Not a problem. All right. So, Next Computer was one of the earlier computers which was founded by none other than the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs. Right. And he went ahead with using these computers. These computers were not really good as per se, It was just an attempt to copy what IBM computers were doing in the early 1990s. But unfortunately, at that time, Next computers didn't work very well, and because of which Steve Jobs had to be was being fired from his own company because this was a very big, massive hit on Apple computers. So Tim Berners-Lee was the first web browser who writes the first web browser using your Next computer, right? Just give me a minute. Uh, yes, Bookstacks Unlimited in the year 92 opened a commercial sales website, that is www.books.com, which was selling books online with credit card processing. So for all those people who said that books were the first things to be sold online, yes, somewhere or the other line you could say that books were being sold online, and these books were being sold and your credit card was being used at the time for processing the online purchases that were being made. And the first companies who were involved in allowing credit card transactions were none other than MasterCard and Visa. Right. So Paget Press in the year 93 released edition number 3 of the first App Store, the electronic app wrapper. Right. So you all understand that there was a first app store introduced in the year 1993. I believe most of us have started to hear about app stores somewhere in the early 2000 or 2000, around that period when iPhone was being launched or when Android was being launched. At that time, we started to hear the app store. But earlier, even before that, there was an app store which was being released in the year 1993, through which all the applications can be electronically purchased. Now, you all must be, I don't know whether how many of you are aware about, has anyone heard about a web browser called as Netscape? I believe you guys were not even born. What were you guys doing in the year 1994? Kashish says she has heard about Netscape, right? She says no. I believe you guys were not born in the year 1994. It was my time when I was just introduced to the computers, and we were just going through these various sort of browsers, and Netscape was one of the browsers which was earlier into development. Right. And later on, basically, if you all are aware about, Netscape was later on taken over and it was converted into none other than Mozilla Firefox, one of the most sought after browsers, internet browsers in today's modern day. Right. Uh, in 1994, IP Switch iMail server became the first software available online for sale and immediately download via partner between IP Switch Inc. and Open Market. Right. Let's continue. In 1994, 10 Summoner's Tales by Sting became the first secure online purchase through net market. Now, you all remember, I believe, do you know who basically is Sting? Are you all aware about who is Sting? Guys? No? You guys have not heard Sting? No? All right, fair enough. Okay, not a problem. So, for those people who are not aware about Sting, right, you should go and listen to some of his music. Actually, he's a very renowned singer, a performer, right? And his songs are really very good, right? What we are talking about here is some of the earlier days where basically your music was being sold online via this particular systems, right? And Sting was the earlier days was the first one to allow his music to be sold online. And we are talking about the era where just MP3 was being introduced in the market, right? In 1995, the US National Science Foundation lifts its former strict prohibition of commercial enterprise on the internet. So until 1995, right, uh, you know, uh, it was said to be that the government of United States was the one who was having the entire control of the internet. But in the early 1995, the commercial enterprise of internet was being given up, and everyone was owning the internet henceforth. Right. In the year 1995, right, Thursday, 27th April 1995, the purchase of the book Paul Stanfield, right, was being done from W.M. Smith shop, right, which was an online store which was meant for selling books online. This is from where the first particular book was being sold online. And in 1995, Jeff Bezos went ahead with launching your Amazon.com. So, what is the year right now? We are talking about the year is 2020, and it has been almost now 25 years that Amazon has been into business. Today, we all know that Amazon stands number one in the electronic commerce business, and it's also been listed as one of the top Fortune 500 companies in the US. And you all are already aware about Jeff Bezos as one of the richest man in the world, with a net fortune of billions of dollars. So you all understand that Amazon was not being launched a day back or something like that. It was earlier in 1995 when Amazon was being launched, and Jeff Bezos was into the idea of selling books online. So Amazon was purely a web portal which was meant for searching any books, and you can make an order for the books online, and you can go ahead and purchasing it directly. Now, I'll give you my own experience in the early 2000 when I had internet at my house, and I was looking through earlier when Amazon came into India. I was just, it was somewhere in the year 2005 or 6. I had gone ahead with making an order online from Amazon.in. At that time, you all might not be aware about, but there were major companies that were involved in e-commerce business. That was Flipkart, there was Amazon, there was Bazi. Right? For those people who are not aware about, yes, Rahil is saying eBay. Let me tell you, Rahil, there is a fun fact about eBay. Earlier when eBay was not in India, there was a website which was called as Bazi.com. Bazi.com was basically an online auction portal which was meant for if you are a customer, if you are a seller, and if you want to auction something which you are not using anymore, you can go on Bazi.com and auction it to the auction it, and Bazi used to take a certain fees for their site, and people used to sell. However, when eBay came to know about it, because even though Bazi was the first one in India, it had copied the model from eBay. So when eBay came to know about this, eBay went ahead with buying Bazi.com, and the entire business was changed to something called as eBay.in that we see today. Unfortunately, eBay has been put behind by the two major players in the market, that is Flipkart and Amazon. And yes, Kevin is asking, sir, was e-commerce that popular, efficient back then? Let me tell you, Kevin, that e-commerce was not really popular during, early 2000, 2000, 2005. Right. The one and the major reason why e-commerce was not really popular in India, it's because of the electronic transactions that were taking place. At earlier stages, there were a lot of hitchbacks, hiccups that were faced by these online partners, because they were not able to sell, they were not able to get money. The idea was that any customer who wants to make a purchase would need to use a credit card, and because of credit cards, there was a whole lot of, you could could say, security issue, and that's the reason why these companies were not really working that well. However, earlier stages, Flipkart was one of the companies who went ahead with bringing something called as, you must be aware about cash on delivery. And that is where this particular idea of cash on delivery really kicked the e-commerce business in India. Kevin is asking, post 2006, we had e-revolution. I had read. Yes, that's right, Kevin. What you are saying is precise. Post 2006, we did had an e-revolution, and the e-revolution came in the country. It's all thanks to Flipkart and its policies which were being brought across, and they were the first ones to provide you with the service of cash on delivery. Let me tell you, until 1995, all of these companies, even when in 1995, eBay was being founded as one of the online auctioning sites, all of these companies were only and only involved into credit card transactions until 2006, right? There was no other company, unlike Flipkart, who was ready to sell products after the product is received on the end. Even when I have talked so far, all of these companies were purely involved into selling products online, and that was first you pay and then we will deliver you the product. So in India, because consumers were not really very keen on having to know the product at hand, they were not ready to buy the product. So they were not ready to risk all of these cases. So uh, if you all would look into post 2006, yes, I agree to this fact that post 2006 we had an e-revolution, and we had seen a massive surge in online e-commerce in India, thanks to companies like Flipkart, which went ahead with introducing the cash on delivery option, and this made consumers to buy, and it people were able to buy by paying it on delivery, and it was very good. Later on, a lot of companies were facing massive, you could say, massively they were facing issues in terms of losses. Like Flipkart had, in the first 5 years, it was almost reporting losses. The only and only reason being because it had set up its own logistics, which was involved into sending the product to the customers' doorsteps and getting the product back. So here they were facing a lot of issues with logistics, and that's the reason why Flipkart was issuing and posting a lot of losses. But over the period of time, as the customer base grew and consumers started to have a confidence in the products that are being sold, slowly and steadily they became using the other modes of transactions, like credit cards came into place, online net banking came into place, your UPI came into place. All of these things changed, and your internet today, what you all see, has really been shaped thanks to the original steps that were taken in the early 2006. Okay, so continuing with the timeline of e-commerce, in 1996, the use of Excalibur BBS, which replicated storefronts, was an early implementation of electronic commerce started by a group of sysops in Australia and replicated the global partner site. So basically, these are some of the softwares which were meant for creating the storefront that you all basically see on a website or on a shopping cart website. So these were some of the softwares that were being used. In 1998, electronic post stamps can be purchased and downloaded for printing from the web. So, earlier when you all talk about, because electronic mail was already being introduced, the US Postal Service was facing a huge amount of loss because nobody was ready to send post. Everyone was sending emails, and emails were better in communication. So because of this, the United States Postal Service went ahead with bringing in something called as the electronic postal stamps, which can be purchased and downloaded from printing from the web. Although this was an effort where the American Postal Service was trying to compete with the emails, than the era of email, where they were not really very successful in doing that. And even though in 1998 it was being introduced, not a lot of purchases were being done, and slowly it faded off. Today, if you all would understand that uh, the American Postal Service is no longer, functioning as it was functioning before, in terms of movement of goods. It has been overtaken by mostly UPS and UPS and DHL, DFL, sorry DHL, and the other companies, basically, especially the small mails that were been written, have been eradicated, and only people use electronic mails for sending documents. Yes, in early 1999, Alibaba Group was established in China, and business.com was sold to Alibaba for US $7.5 million dollars, and was purchased in 1997 for around 149,000. The peer-to-peer file sharing software Napster launches. So I believe, have you all heard about Napster? For those people who have not heard about Napster, I don't know how many of you have seen the movie The Social Network. Have you all seen the movie The Social Network? Uh, I don't see anyone saying yes, no. Has anyone seen The Social Network? Not a problem. So, yes, yes, yes. Good, 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 good. Right. So, do you all know? Yes, Jesse Eisenberg. Right. I believe that's the name of the character who played Mark Zuckerberg, right? In the social network. Yes, but what we are more concerned about is if you all would go back into the movie as such. In that movie, uh, earlier when Mark Zuckerberg was, planning to launch his own website, he had named the website as the Facebook. Right. And for those people who are not aware about it, it was the founder of Napster who went ahead with saying that you should remove the from the Facebook and only keep it Facebook. This was a suggestion given to Mark Zuckerberg at that time. Right. And, at that time, Napster was one of the largest softwares to be downloaded. Napster created a revolution in the online audio industry. Why? Because earlier at that period, there was actually uh, there was actually uh, there was actually you could say an online business, online software being downloaded. People were basically using Napster for piracy, and people were basically using Napster for piracy. They were downloading music online. They were, they were using peer-to-peer torrents, basically for downloading free music, and that's how basically Napster came into existence. Unfortunately, what happened was at a later stage, there were Sony, BMG, and other audio companies who went ahead with filing a lawsuit against Napster, and Napster had to be shut down. But what happened after Napster shut down is everyone is aware that nobody has since then paid for audio, right? Today, I believe that everyone, whoever is listening to music, they listen to music free of cost, right? The only reason is because earlier, before Napster was being launched, there were companies, especially there were, a lot of audio companies who used to use their website to sell audio. So if you like a particular if you like a particular audio, if you like a particular music, or if you like a particular soundtrack, or if you like a particular artist as such, and if that publisher was none other than Sony, BMG, or some other audio track company, so you have to go to their website and make a purchase of that particular music, and you would be able to download the MP3. So earlier, before to this, when CDs were being there in the year 1998, CDs were copyright protected. You were not able to use CDs to copy music. If you have purchased the CD, then you can move that CD from one place to other, but you cannot make multiple copies of it. So there were multiple reasons why Napster came into place. The first thing was that Napster was allowing you to share files using MP3s. It was allowing you to do a peer-to-peer transaction. It means that if I want to go ahead with sending you an audio file, I can directly put it on Napster, and anyone would be able to download it. So Napster was something which revolutionized the entire music industry. And earlier, this industry was basically where everyone was buying music. Napster actually made it free of cost, and he has, the founder of Napster has really changed the entire music industry today. Because today, I believe everyone is listening to audio, but I believe no one is paying for the audio services that are available. You get it free of cost, so why pay for it? Right. And today, if you all talk about 1999 was the year when Alibaba was established in China. So for those people who are not aware about what exactly is Alibaba, Alibaba is considered as the retailer's retailer. So basically, if you are an online retailer and if you want to purchase goods in bulk, right, you go to alibaba.com, and alibaba.com would allow you to search for various sellers that are available online via their shopping platform, and you can make an order. Basically, what happens at alibaba.com is that you can make an order via the system, but anywhere if you want to make a purchase, it should be always in bulk. Right. So that's where in 1999 Alibaba Group was being established in China. Today, you all must be aware about uh, the founder of Alibaba.com is none other than yes, Kevin is right. It is called as a merchant hub in short. And in fact, Jack Ma is also one of the world's richest man. Is the owner of Alibaba Group. So. That's about in 1999. Uh, just give me a minute. Mm, yes. Global e-commerce reaches to $150 billion in transaction. Now, you all must be aware about in 1999, China was on the burst of manufacturing. In fact, every product that was made in China, and China wanted to go ahead with selling their products in a very fast way. And that's where 1999 Alibaba went ahead with setting up its e-commerce platform, and that made all of these buyers across the world as one place where they can shop for these cheap products. That's basically your Alibaba group. So that's where the global e-commerce in 1999 reached to about 150 billion US dollars. Now you all must be aware about the 2000 the dot-com burst. Now what happened was, for in 2000, there was a major surge in every company who wanted to get into the online business. So every company which was at that time selling their products were investing a huge amount in setting up their online systems and trying to go ahead and sell their products online. Unfortunately, there was a huge pump in the market for these online businesses. There was money being pumped in the market, and there were companies who were taking the advantage of this and trying to set up their online business. But unfortunately, at that time, not every business survived at that particular period, and that's the reason why 2000 was one of the earlier days, which was considered as the dot-com burst. Right. In 2001, eBay had the largest user database in any e-commerce website could ever have. 2001, Alibaba.com achieved profitability in, just within 2 years of time, Alibaba had achieved profitability. And in 2002, eBay acquires PayPal. So, do you all know who was the owner of PayPal? You can put it on the chat. I'm looking at the chat right now. So, does anyone know who was the owner of PayPal? If you know the name, you can put in the chat. If you don't know the name, you can put in simply no as such. You guys, hello. Are you guys there? Yeah, Amok says he's not aware about it. Fair. What about others? Yes, there is Akshat who has correctly answered my question. Yes, that's right, Akshat. You are perfect on your part. It was none other than Elon Musk. Elon Musk was the original founder of PayPal, where basically PayPal was sold to eBay at 1.5 billion US dollars in the year 2002. Now, Elon Musk was a very smart man. He has, after that, went ahead with buying Tesla. He went ahead with investing into various other companies, and he has grown very large today. But this was the earlier stages where eBay had acquired PayPal. Now, why was eBay acquired by PayPal? It's because at that time, PayPal was one of the most sought after electronic services that was being used by majorly electronic consumers across the United States, and PayPal was one of the major transactions that was being used. So eBay, when acquired PayPal, they integrated their transaction systems via PayPal, which allowed consumers to directly do transactions. And whatever was being done as a part of fees was being stored by eBay. Earlier to this, what used to happen was any credit card transactions were taking place. They were being holded up by companies like MasterCard and Visa. So for any transactions that were being charged, MasterCard and Visa was making a fortune out of it. But uh, yes. So it was basically eBay acquired PayPal at that time. So they went ahead with, they were the ones who it was only acquired by eBay at that time. There was no other companies, I believe, who were involved into acquiring of PayPal. It was only eBay. Right. So, the reason why basically eBay went ahead with buying out PayPal is because of the transactions that were being happening. E-commerce and the transactions that happen on e-commerce are basically through credit card systems. So eBay went ahead with setting up its own online transactions via PayPal, where it doesn't need to pay any more fees to any of these, online, credit card services like Mastercard and Visa or even American Express. And basically, it was good for eBay to do transactions via PayPal. But that's been old story now. Now in 2003, Amazon.com posts its first yearly profit. In 2004, dhgate.com was China's first online B2B transaction platform, is established, forcing other B2B sites to move away from the yellow pages model. So how many of you are aware about a term called as yellow pages? Is everyone aware about a term called as yellow pages? Have you all heard about the term called as yellow pages? All right. Yes, Prisha says yes. Amok says yes. Very nice. Good job, guys. Since you guys are already aware about yellow pages, for those people who are not aware about it, let me tell you. In early 2000, there was one company in India which went ahead with introducing yellow pages, which was none other than Tata. It was called as the Tata Press Yellow Pages. It was Tata Press which went ahead with introducing Yellow Pages, which was considered to be a business directory. So if you want to search for anything that is required, like if you want to buy any parts, or if you're looking for a B2B service, right, you could go through the Tata Press Yellow Pages, and it will show you information about those people who are selling you those services. But online models have really, removed the directory services, where now you can simply search for online numbers and you would get their details from the internet itself. And this was the earlier ways by which Yellow Pages was completely out of business, and people had moved on to dhgate.com, where they could be able to find any of their business needs. Business.com was being acquired by RH Donnelly for around $345 million. In 2014, US e-commerce and online retail sales projected to reach 294 billion, an increase of 12% over 2013 and 9% of all retail sales. Alibaba Group had the largest initial public offering ever, worth 25 billion US dollars. Yes, uh, in 2015, Amazon.com accounts for more than half of all e-commerce growth, selling almost 500 million SKUs in the US. Have you all heard about this term called as SKU? If you all are aware about it, if anyone can, type in the full form of SKU, if you all have heard about it. Kashish says no. What about others? Have you all heard about this term called as SKU? Right. You can Google it out if you want. It is related to something called as stock. Yes. Kevin is right. It is called as stock keeping unit. Right. So what is basically SKU is a stock keeping unit. Now, what is meaning of a stock keeping unit? Anything that is being sold on Amazon, right, has to be kept as a unique product identifier, right? Yes, barcodes do have it. That's right. What Kevin is saying is absolutely right. Barcodes do have it. Like I'll give you an example. Do you see this calculator over here? This is a Casio calculator. Although we are not concerned about the model of the calculator that it is, the idea about the calculator is that this calculator would be having a very single SKU. It means that there would not be any repetition of the SKU, and it will be uniquely stored into the Amazon's website. Now, why is an SKU important? Because if any person wants to make a purchase of this particular Casio calculator, they will have to make a purchase of that SKU. And do you all understand when I say that Amazon.com accounts for more than half of all e commerce growth, selling almost 500 million SKUs in the US? We are talking about 500 million such different products which have been listed on Amazon.com. And that was the main reason why Amazon grew to such a large extent in the year 2015. In 2017, retail e-commerce sales across the world reaches to $2.304 trillion, dollars, right, which was 24.8% increase than the previous year. By the way, I hope everyone knows how many billions are equal to $1 trillion. I don't need to explain you all that, but you all understand that in 2017, your retail has grown to such a large extent, right? For your information, I have not listed down the facts over here. One of the reasons is also India, because India had seen a surge in the retail business, and consumers were buying products. So majorly, all the developed countries and the developing countries were making purchase via these online systems, and that's the reason why the entire sales worldwide had reached to about $2.304 trillion. In 2017, global e-commerce transactions generated $29.267 trillion, dollars, which were from B2B as well as from B2C. So you'll understand B2B transactions were much higher, whereas your B2C, that is business to consumer transactions or business to consumer sales, were much lesser. Right. The reason, because if any business to business transactions happen, it happens on a very larger amount, and it could be leading to purchase of either products which were meant for selling it to the end consumer, or even to using it to itself. So companies were using platforms like SAP, right, or even other ERP platforms which were integrated within their organization's purchase system, that were allowing them to directly make a purchase via various websites. One of the earlier days where basically this was being achieved was none other than by Dell computers, which had an overall integrated system which allowed consumers to directly make a purchase via the website, and you can go ahead with modifying your computer as per your needs. Right. Now, do you know this guy? Has anyone seen this man before? No, some kid says no. Some kid has no clue about who this guy is. Kashish also is saying no. Right. Uh, Nobody. Can you all just figure out what's there on the background where he's standing? No, no idea. Is that Clorox sanitizers? Kevin is right. It's sanitizers. Yes. Yes, Clorox. I don't know what is Clorox. If you can explain it to me, I have no idea. Yeah, but Parth is saying it's right. Sanitizers, sanitizers. Yes, yes, you guys are correct. Right. So, what we are talking about, this guy is none other than one of the most notorious people who has been known. Uh, in the American history of COVID 19. So basically, when COVID 19, one of the first cases was found in America for COVID 19. These are basically the Riley brothers, Kevin Riley, or some brothers as such. These people were the first ones who went ahead with buying out everything across the various stores. Now, let me tell you who are these people. These people own their own online stores on Amazon.com. Okay. And when the first COVID 19 had hit America, at that time, these people went ahead with buying every single sanitizer, every single every single you could say toilet paper, and every soap, detergent, and all of those antiseptics that are required from the various small shops in Tennessee as well as in various other locations across US. And they literally bought them at at large quantities. They literally went ahead with buying everything, right, from these stores. What happened was that when the stockouts happened into these particular stores, when people started to go into these stores, and when COVID-19 hit these various parts of US, and when people started to go into stores, they started to see that there was a stock out of sanitizers, there was a stock out of toilet papers. These basic products were not available at that time. These people were selling these products on Amazon at a markup price, right? They were selling it like, let's say, if one sanitizer bottle was costing $7, which they had purchased it for, they were almost selling it for $50, and they made their fortune out of it. They made millions within the first month of COVID itself, and their report was being covered into the New York Times, and they were considered. Yes, yes, yes. Paisa double bhi nahi, Amuk. I'm talking about more than 4 times or 5 times. You imagine $7 sanitizer bottle was being sold at $50. You can imagine it's more than what you can ever think of. And these guys literally made millions of dollars. When the local public came to know about these people, they went ahead with shaming them. They were considered as America's most hated people. And one of the articles was also covered into New York Times, where they confessed that they went ahead with stocking out the entire stores in Tennessee and the areas around Tennessee, and causing massive stockouts. And later on, they went ahead with donating the rest overs to the state department. So you can say it's a scam gone wrong, but the idea is that this man over here was very smart enough to understand about how exactly COVID-19 was going to hit everyone, and how people become cynical. If you all are aware about that, in US people were literally fighting for people were literally fighting for these paper towels, and and they were literally unaware about how can we acquire them. So as soon as paper towels used to come, they used to go ahead and make a purchase of that. So and stores were also finding it very difficult because they had to keep stocking them. And at that time this man was selling these products online, and he was making a fortune out of it. uh, why exactly I wanted you all to know this person is because it's very latest. If you all would try and search for Google him out on Tennessee man who made millions while selling sanitizers on Amazon.com, you will come to know about this particular person and you will know better about him. Yeah, that's about it. We are almost done with our session for today. uh, you know so shall we call it off for the day now? uh, did you all do you have any do you have any questions? Yes, Matt Coleman. Yeah, that's right, that's right. Urja is saying yes, that's right. Yes, so do you have any questions in any of the topics that have been covered so far? You are free to ask me any questions. Okay, not a problem. So what we will do is we'll hang up for now, right? And we are going to take it as slow as possible. By the way, I would like to show you all this book. Can you all see this book over here? Uh, mm, yeah, is it visible? I'm so sorry. Is it visible to you all? Can you all see this? It's unfortunately the screen. It's not working fine. Anyways, uh, this book. This book is basically e-commerce and digital marketing by Rishabh Publication. Although I had a sample copy of this particular book, you are always open to go ahead and buy this book from your local bookseller. Right? It has got all the questions and the question banks that have been asked in the university exams, and it comprehensively covers the entire syllabus which is prescribed by the University of Mumbai. I would rather suggest you all to go through this particular book for your further references. Kevin, I'm so sorry. The ebook is not available for these. Actually, Rishabh Publication is not into ebooks. However, if you want to buy ebooks, you can go for Shade Publishers. But even Shade Publishers, uh, Ayushi, I'm so sorry. I can't make a PDF of that. These are all copyrighted books. I would go to jail for that. So I won't be able to make PDFs. Yes, Ayushi, exams are going to be conducted. Rest be assured. Yes, Sana, your exams would be conducted. Uh, I'm so sorry, Ayushi, but if you want to make a PDF copy of that book, please take an effort, buy a book from outside, make a PDF using your cam scanner, and you can share it on your own. Okay, Ayushi. But yeah, guys, it was great talking to you all. I hope if you are not facing any queries, yes, Prisha, you can use some other softwares. You can use Adobe Scan to scan the books and carry out with it. Okay, so thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot for listening to me all this time. We will see you all on Friday, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. All right, thanks a lot, guys, and I'll hang up now. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye bye.